to Father-Son Fairway Friday, the show all about golf, featuring my dad and grandpa from Austad Golf.
All right, everyone, here we are, Father-Son Fairway Fridays. I am here with my father, Dave, who's actually just in another conference room.
Social distancing.
Together. Why would we sit by each other 24/7?
I know. We're sick of each other, so we're like 25 feet away, but that's what you're supposed to do in this Corona thing. You just you stay apart, you stay away. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
We're doing our part. Well, hey, we've got a special treat for you all today. One of my favorite people in the industry is joining the show live from Lakeville, Minnesota, our friend Ron Eskerga. There you go, Ron.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get that out of there.
You never look better, Ron. That's
well, you know what? Like my wife likes it the way I look like that, so I better take it off. She's not here.
For those of you who don't know, Ron has been in the golf industry most of his life. He has been with Cobra Puma really since Ricky Fowler was like, what, a toddler for you guys. So you've been around a while and certainly worked with Austad's Golf a long time. We're honored to have you on the show. Thanks for being on Father-Son Fairway Fridays.
Hey, thanks for having me. I couldn't wait for 3 o'clock to come. Today's been a very hectic day for me. I try to qualify for the state am, and let's just say I better keep my day job going.
Wow. Ronnie is an amazing athlete. You know, I don't want to embarrass him or anything, but he's an incredible golfer, and he can water ski barefoot. I mean, that's a combo you don't see very often. That's pretty cool.
If you don't believe us, just follow him on Instagram. He'll show you.
He's got video. He's got video.
So
I'm wondering about the thong swimming suit, though, man. You need to get something a little more, covers a little more. But
at my age, I need a lot of cover up, Dave. So.
Yeah.
All right. Before we digress too much, let's get into Bryson DeChambeau, who is absolutely mauling the golf ball right now. If you have not watched him the last 2 weeks or seen him since the 2019 season, the dude looks like he could go play middle linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings today. Ron, you've been with Cobra Puma a long time. When did you guys start getting an inkling that the mad scientist is now not just tweaking his equipment and his game, but making major adjustments to his body?
Well, the body thing kind of threw all of us for a loop. I mean, we were at our sales meeting last August, which seems like 10 years with everything else that's going on right now. And, there was no inclination at that point that he was going to do anything outside of, trying to continue his one-length crusade and, try to prove everybody wrong and that his method and his methodology was going to be right. But, when COVID shut things down, and even in the fall, we had heard he was bulking up. And the strange thing is, he's like my size. I mean, when I met him, I'm 6'1", 180. He's like 6'1.5", like 190. And to see him now, it's unrecognizable. But
well, and the funny thing for you as a manufacturer, obviously you have a great slate of athletes with Ricky Fowler and Lexi Thompson, and you obviously want to keep these guys happy because they're out there, they're promoting your brand. He's got to be kind of a guy that makes you a little frustrated, because what I heard when they asked him, why did you do that? His response was, I was bored. I just wanted to try something different. I just want to go do something else. So he comes out with this crazy diet and he bulks up, and now he's hitting them 345 down the middle. But it's got to be a little tough for you guys, isn't it?
So, I mean, Ben Showman, who's our tour rep, he's the guy that's got to deal with Bryson. And yeah, Bryson is so different from Ricky to Lexi to, Duffner now is playing Cobra. And all these guys have got their own quirks about certain things. But when Bryson comes to town, needless to say, he's not leaving like the next day. He's definitely got his hands into everything we do. He's involved with the R&D. I mean, his irons that he's playing right now is a complete new set of irons that they retooled just because of him bulking up in the last 3 months. And having the time down really allowed them to do that. And then even his new driver now, went from a 7.5 degree lofted driver down to a 5.5 degree, which is, as you guys know, is long drive the guys have that off there. And it really had to do with spin. He swings at it so hard right now that he needs that lowest spin. And he was playing really a 3-year-old King LTD driver that was probably our lowest spinning driver we had. But they were able to get him a 5.5-degree driver, get the spin down. He's got a unique shaft that he's working with also that it's like rebarb in the middle of the shaft for about the first 1.5 feet in the middle, and then towards the tip and then the butt end, he makes it sound like it's almost like licorice. So it's got that like whip effect. And yeah, he's different. I mean, even at our sales meeting about 4 years ago, we asked about 1-length drivers, and he said, you know what, it can be done. And the problem, though, is it's called the USGA and the RNA, because if you made them that, you'd have to change some head configuration. So
his swing speed is 190 to 200. Is that what I'm hearing?
He said yesterday in an interview that to carry the lake in the practice round, he had calculated he needs a ball speed of 205. So if you're back into the math and his smash factor, which is ball speed over swing speed, is about 1.5, that means his swing speed is 135 miles per hour. To give some comparison, DJ and Koepka, two of the longest drivers on tour, their ball speed is low to mid 180s, and he's now mashing the ball over 200 miles per hour. That is disgusting.
It's so funny too, because you look at his new irons, and we had to change all the lofts on his irons to match his new club head speed with his body. And one of the biggest reasons he also bulked up from what we were told a while ago is because his waist and his hip speed, it was so fast that his arms and his upper body couldn't keep up with it. And so like the tail end of last year, he just said, hey, I got to fix something. And he started doing these isometric exercises, and he was doing like these gymnastic exercises, working on fingers and hands and wrists. And keep in mind, he's playing, a grip like the size of a softball bat too. So think how fast your hands have got to be to get that to rotate compared to a normal tour player. But, Bubba plays big grips too. And it really is just unbelievable hand-eye coordination and club head speed.
So Ron, he's hitting obviously the Cobra Speed Zone driver, your new driver.
Yeah.
Speed Zone, perfect name for a guy that's now swinging at 135 and the ball speed over 200. You talked about the fitting for Bryson with a very unique shaft. At Austad's, as you know, a Golf Digest Top 100 fitter, we have a wide array of shaft options, and not just shaft, but even in the head itself. Can you talk a little bit about how the amateur can benefit as much as a guy like Bryson DeChambeau from the Cobra Speed Zone driver?
Yeah, I mean, we can take a tour player like Bryson and maximize the performance of that head to the fastest clubhead swingers in the world, or to, guys like you and me. I swing at 100 miles an hour clubhead speed. The biggest thing that we changed that I think Bryson really appreciated is the CNC milled face, the new infinity face. When we're milling faces now, it allows us to get that milling to a perfection as opposed to a hand polished. I haven't heard him cracking a face yet, which you normally hear with hand polished faces. So I think that's a good thing. So CNC milling ensures that every part of that face is faster, high toe, low heel, top to bottom. And I think the average player is going to see that, we don't hit it in the middle, like everybody does on tour. And even Bryson probably attests to it. So I think high toe and low heel shots, I've seen at the demo days that I've been able to do of late, have really maximized club head or ball speed actually, and still making it further. And we're giving the consumer two options. So we have Bryson's head, which is Speed Zone, that has weights front and back that you can optimize spin and performance. But then we have our most forgiving driver, which is the Extreme, which is kind of a sleeper. We're seeing almost 50% of our sales now are the Extreme because, it's not only probably the straightest driver we've ever made, but it still gives you maximum distance, that we can optimize. So
as part of the show, Ron, we try to educate our listeners and make sure they know what's going on. And one of the interesting things about golf and science, which we're getting more of all the time, is off the tee, we have found spin is not your friend. If you get too much spin, it just kind of whoops right down into the ground. When you're getting closer to the green, you want more spin, and that's how those guys hit hit the green, and then the ball sucks back because you need that. So you guys as manufacturers try to figure out ways to make your driver have less spin and your wedges have more spin, right?
You're spot on,
Thanks,
and Cobra's
75 years in the business. I learned stuff,
Well, you're pretty sharp, and I've always said that, Dave. And
Thanks, man.
Even at your age, we all learn a little bit every day, and today is a good day to learn something.
It is. It is.
So
good.
Speaking of improvements in technology that leads to maybe a reduction in spin in your drivers or increases in your irons, one of the cool things that came out last week with Cobra is that they're experimenting and planning on leveraging 3D printing going into 2020 to create product and then test product. And I'm curious, Ron, again, like Bryson and Ricky and Lexi, they're going to be taken care of, right? But for the masses that come into Austad's Golf and the folks we fit for equipment, how does 3D printing from Cobra, how is that going to positively impact the performance of their game?
Well, we've always been very innovative at Cobra. So, that news that came out this week was shared with me as it was with you. That was the first time I've heard of it. I've got a little bit of, question and answer through some of my upper management people. And I think the way we're going to use it in the future is that now we're going to be able to produce a product that we might not have to have inventory of. We might not have to go to China to produce and warehouse product. We can change the weights, so if someone wanted, let's say on an iron, they wanted their 4, 5, and 6 iron to have a little bit more offset. We can put that into a CAD drawing and be able to produce that. We can move the weights around and produce individual heads as opposed to building them in the mass. But I think where it's really going to be is cool is the next series of drivers. I'm sure there's going to be some new crown technology that's going to allow us to move weight around. And as you guys know, we can't add more weight to drivers. You can't take weight away. So manufacturers have just had to, manipulate and move the weight around. And I think with the new 3D imaging, we're going to be able to take it to the next level and move that weight and optimize spin and performance and have real time, products as opposed to, taking a picture, sending it back to China, testing it. This will be able to do within a day. And so I think it's going to be a time saver, but I also think it could save money. But I think the innovation, like I said, is just too early to tell. But, we're pretty unique from the standpoint that, we're first to market with CNC milling. We've always had, we're first to market with one length. I shouldn't say first, but we reinvented it. So we always try to do something different. Whether others follow us or not, it's yet to be determined. But I'm excited to hear about it. They don't tell me anything, Ryan. You know that we're lousy sales reps. They know that we can't keep secrets. So you found out about as much as I did. So
yeah, well, it'll be cool. From what I understood, to your point, to speed up the process, they're going to be able to test many, many more heads more quickly, which is going to allow them to dial in the performance, change things more quickly. Maybe instead of doing 10 iterations of a club before they settle on one, they can do 100. And if you can test 100, whereas you were doing 10 the year before, boy, you better believe they're going to find some additional performance gains for individuals, which is
yeah, I don't know. One day maybe you guys will be able to in your shop be able to print a driver head right there on the spot, and a guy pick it up that night, and something like that. I don't know that much about it, but I with everything that's going on in this world, maybe that's what's next.
Well, Ronnie, it is always a pleasure to have you, and we are honored that you would take time out of your day from golfing or water skiing or whatever you normally do on a Wednesday or Thursday, Friday day. But thanks for being with us, man. Good information. It's going to be fun to see what Bryson does. Kind of like, what will Bryson do next? You just never know, right?
Well,
it's fun to see.
Thank you for having me. It's always an honor and a privilege to see you two. I wish I was there. I'll see you soon. And keep an eye on Bryson. I think he'll be fun for the tour, and we'll talk soon.
Appreciate the time, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.